Welcome to this presentation about olfactory costuming and scented identity. My name is Viveka Kjellmer, and today I'm going to talk about how the subversive qualities of perfume can be used to undermine normative ideas about, for example, beauty, gender, or power. But we will start with the black box. I have ordered a new fragrance and my box is finally here. So I open it, and on the front page of the small leaflet that accompanies the perfume bottle is a black and white photograph of a person dressed in gloves, corset and stockings. She's beautifully made up with dark eyes and long lashes. Her mouth looks perfect in shiny lipstick. A pierced nipple and multiple tattoos on her arms stand in contrast to the soft and powdery white skin on her face and neck. I see a star just before the show is about to begin. This portrait combines two identities, the performer in costume and the person behind the stage persona. If this photograph was translated into perfume, how would it smell? I spray the perfume on my wrist. The first thing I smell is a sweet cloud of patchouli. Suddenly, I'm hit by a leather note, like an unexpected smack in the face by a leather glove, followed by the soft green smell of powdery violet leaves. This is a fragrance with multiple faces, one that refuses to follow marketing rules that categorize fragrances as suitable for either men or women. On my skin, dirty violet smells like smoky leather in a warm cloud of powder. It is soft and a bit intimidating at the same time. I'm comparing my impressions of these two portraits, one olfactory and one photographic, of performance artist Violet Chachki. The perfume Dirty Violet by Douglas Little was inspired by Chachki and plays with contrasting ingredients to create a gender-bending and unexpected result. Many of the same traits can be seen in the photographic portrait of Chachki by Reuven Afanador, where contrasts and refusal to submit to fixed identity categories are obvious qualities of her persona. This comparison reveals that personality and identity can be expressed in many ways, and that perfume is one of them. Using fragrance as a personal identity statement means that we can dress in scent. I'm inspired by theoretical perspectives on costume agency by Efi Monks, Donatella Barbieri, and, of course, the theme of this conference, suggesting that costume interacts with the body wearing it and plays significant parts in a performance. Costuming could be viewed as an act of producing the actor's body and even co-producing the performance. The same, I argue, is valid for what I would like to call perfuming. Actively and consciously wearing perfume far exceeds smelling nice. Rather, it is about creating bodily presence and designing an olfactory identity. Thinking about smell as costume means acknowledging the embodied and communicative capacities of smell. Bodies that smell claim space, even if the olfactory communication is subtle and partly subconscious. So choosing to communicate with smell on our own bodies, olfactory costuming, amounts to producing a scented body that will affect the surrounding space, the people who enter this space, and not least ourselves. Smells can be functional. Smell researcher Sissel Tolås compares wearing different smells to changing clothes according to the way we would like to appear. She has created a smell designed specifically to keep people at a distance. And this smell is meant to be slightly off-putting and project a feeling of unease, thus discouraging other people from approaching. So, Tula's repulsive smell is a playful example of how smell can be used to communicate. Wearing it says stay away, using olfactory communication instead of verbally telling someone to back off. This can also be understood as an act of social disobedience. Deliberately wearing an unpleasant smell means refusing to accept normative ideas about smelling clean and attractive in public. A more commercially available example of a similar strategy can be found in Eau de Protection, a rose fragrance that does not aim to be just pretty. Instead, the metallic smell of blood is included in the fragrance and serves as a warning. The idea was to make a protective rose fragrance that focuses on the dual aspects of the flower, beautiful from afar but defensive with sharp thorns up close. Eau de Protection is meant to empower and also protect the wearer. A seemingly pretty fragrance with great integrity. It is a rose fragrance, but a non-typical one, problematizing traditional gender and beauty ideals and signaling stay away rather than come hither. Wearing this perfume as a protective costume is a way to design a scented identity that communicates strength and integrity. The social disobedience lies in the altered olfactory message. The beauty and the fragrant skin are there, but so are the thorns. This scented message also affects the wearer. Like a corset would straighten our spines, so will the scent help us feel stronger and influence the manner in which we present ourselves. The olfactory costume helps produce a scented body with presence and agency. The standard approach for marketing mainstream perfumes has long been based on gender segmentation and ideas of attraction. This is communicated visually in the marketing and package design and olfactorily in the actual scents by producing certain types of scents for men and other for women. Unisex or non-gender scents, however, are standard in the niche fragrance business. Niche here understood as smaller companies with limited distribution where the boundaries of fine perfumery are pushed through the deliberate use of unexpected or provocative smells. As a way to deliberately question these established gender positions, wearing the wrong fragrance type can be an act of social disobedience and make claims about alternative identities. Wearing perfume can be political. Perfumes that oppose normative ideas about what men or women should smell like have been created throughout the history of modern perfumery. A classic example is Tabac Blonde from 1919. This has been called the first feminist fragrance. Anna Staltroff created this fragrance as a celebration to the new woman in France after the First World War. A modernist woman who smoked in public and wore makeup. Tabac Blonde is a tobacco fragrance with spicy carnation. It is bold, it is elegant, and it does not apologize. So wearing Tabac Blonde could be seen as an early example of olfactory costuming. A fragrance that confirmed how the modernist female body had the right to claim space in public. This is perfuming, as non-verbal resistance towards traditional views. Perfuming that establishes the modernist olfactory identity by the use of leathery tobacco notes in a perfume designed for the new woman. As shown by Karen Cerullo, olfactory meaning-making has an impact on social interaction. She shows that the cultural meaning of perfumes on a general level, what she calls their public codes, are well known in society, and that most people are able to identify them. This means that scented communication, both in accordance with and against these public codes, will constitute effective messages. Research shows that we are unconsciously influenced by fragrance. For example, that job applicants are rated differently, both on professional and personal qualities, depending on whether they are wearing perfume according to these public codes or not. So, scent affects our professional identity as well. So, what is a suitable scent for a person in power? A quick search on the big fragrance forums will come up with a clear answer. A list of scents, all from the men's side of the perfume counter, described by forum members with words like alpha male or the ultimate boss scent. But Swedish perfumers Crayon propose a different answer to this question. Vanilla CEO, a rich, dry vanilla scent with a twist. It has an invigorating note that reminds me of fresh plastic, a scented surprise that keeps the fragrance new and interesting. This untraditional take on vanilla stops the perfume from being pretty or cloying. So what about the CEO part then? Well, it is not a perfume that radiates adaptation to the public fragrance codes of the boardroom. Rather, it is powerful in a way that deliberately disobeys the expected. To my nose, this fragrance is a playfully strengthening, addictive even. It is a vanilla with an edge, but an edge that flies under the radar. It also undermines everything we thought we knew about an executive scent. Wearing Vanilla CEO is wearing a scented identity that communicates an altogether different power, an olfactory costume that has to do with self-confidence and the power of making your own choices. In the beginning of this presentation, I described Dirty Violet as a scent that complements the visual image of Violet Chachki's stage persona as a strong character who disobeys the normative rules of gender and beauty. It is also a scent that contrasts with the commercial fragrance markets. The same is true for my other examples. Eau de Protection, Tabac Blonde, and Vanilla CEO all challenge normative views of what beauty, gender, and power should smell like, and they all play with ambiguity as resistance. In this presentation, I have argued that perfume can be both subversive and political. The concept of olfactory costuming suggests that scented bodies have the potential to claim space, socially, physically, and emotionally. Fragrance is a multisensory communication tool with agency. The wearing of scents can make powerful statements about identity and bodily presence. Perfuming is a way to utilize the immersive and communicative powers of perfume as resistance. Thank you.